Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude.
Ignorant and vulgar.
No more words.
There is no escape!
How inconsiderate of
No, my sword!
Dodge this.
Could I How inconsiderate.
Witness my rise! Transfixed!
Cool it.
Time to act. Rain outlines your fate.
Well, let's end this quickly. Just calculated. Dodge this!
No, my sword!
This is where you fall. Overruled! Illusion shattered! Laid bare!
Freeze!
Transfixed!
Rain outlines your fate. Time to act. Add Ast. Thank you for complete.
Haven't you heard?
Body and mind. Time to act.
What's the hurry?
Laid bare.
Let me weave you a verse.
Cool it!
There is no escape!
Witness my rise. Overruled.
Dodge this!
Witness the power of Gugwa!
Laid bare.
Shine down! Rain outlines your fate.
You are not welcome here.
Transfixed.
Freeze! How regret.
Don't get frostbite.
What's the hurry? What's the hurry? What's the hurry?
Laid bare.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
There is no escape.
Cool it!
Witness my rise.
Rain outlines your fate.
Dodge this!
Shine down. Transfixed.
Rain cutter.
My turn. Laid bare.
Freeze!
Everlasting as the moon. Overruled. Illusion shattered. Go on.
Another test subject. Suffocate. Fry. Fry.
Laid bare.
I got carried. Suffocate.
Animal.
Cool it!
I got careless.
No, my sword.
Fry. Picked the wrong test subject. Wrong test subject. Try.
Transfixed.
Dodge this.
Witness my rise. Overruled.
Stand clear.
Cool it.
Rain outlines your fate.
Finally die. Through the very finally die.
Shine down.
My lucky day.
I'm going in!
Torn to oblivion. Illusion shattered.
To the very
I'll protect us. Booba, get them!
Shine down.
Let's light it up! Adventure time!
Another test subject.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered.
I got
Nice and spicy!
that tingle.
At the frying pan! Let's light it up!
There is no escape.
Wrong test subject.
Transfixed.
dodge this. Don't push your luck. Oh, so sorry.
Laid bare.
No, my sword! Don't break my glasses!
Another test subject.
Transfixed.
The wrong test subject.
Everlasting as the moon. Laid bare.
Careless.
Illusion shattered.
Let the show begin.
Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
I'll protect us.
Now you shall perish.
Try.
Everybody stand back!
Torn to oblivion.
A little taste. Try. Try.
Shine down.
Nice and spicy!
Picked. Subject.
No escape!
I got careless. Wrong test subject.
Transfixed!
Not good. Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of go.
Cool it!
Laid bare.
No, my sword.
Freeze!
Mercy. Winter, shall we?
Transfixed!
Cool it!
Absorption test.
Shine down!
Pay your dues.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Now you shall perish!
Leaving so soon.
Huh?
Illusion shattered!
No escape.
I'll protect us. Oh no!
Inazuma shines eternal!
Do you see him? The old man flailing around?
Oh, is he the one you wanted to talk to about the case?
Correct. His name is Cyrus, a former Spontamod sage. He taught both me and Lisa.
Huh? Cyno's teacher is in trouble?
It's ridiculous. I'm just an old man who enjoys a spot of gardening, shopping, and wine. What sort of person targets an old retiree?
Professor, I've brought some friends.
Ah, Cyno. Now who do we have? Hold on, let me think. A flying fairy dressed in white? A youth who does not seem to hail. My goodness. You must be the legendary traveler in Paimon. I've heard all about.
Wow, looks like we're really famous.
I've told him about you before. You are my friends, after all. That's right. Let me summarize the situation. A couple of days ago, Professor Cyrus suddenly received a threat letter.
A threat letter?
Exactly. Who sends a threat letter to an old man like me, for goodness sake?
This is the letter in question.
Cyrus, I have uncovered your secret. If you wish to prevent it from going public, leave 10 million mora at the back door of the cafe. Secondly, don't come looking for me. You'll never find me. But I will always be watching you and all of your secrets. Finally, if you dare to report this to... Wow, they sure didn't mince their words.
Clearly, this person must be desperate for
10 million more. What? I'm just a single retiree with nothing to my name beyond the tomatoes in my garden. Where do people think I'm hiding 10 million more?
There were no witnesses, so currently the letter is all we've got. So, Traveler, Paimon, let's put our heads together.
Paimon's ready.
All right, take a look. Yes. Some of the
So is there something wrong with the ink?
Possibly. And I bet the paper has something to do with it.
Most of the paper around here is much smoother than this, and the ink is absorbed quickly so it doesn't run. This paper, meanwhile, it's very coarse-grained. Almost as if it's...
It's certainly not the same paper as we use in the academia. But the ink is nothing special. Just regular black ink that gets a blue tinge when a...
So do we think the culprit has a connection with the... Wait! Check this out! Looks like this part got wet!
Agreed. The staining suggests it was a colored liquid, not plain water. It also...
A colored liquid.
Looks like we're thinking along similar lines. Let's go talk to Araf. There are...
Araf.
Mahamatra Cyno. Sir Cyrus. Ah, and the travel...
As such, I'm inclined to believe that the culprit in this case is a student at the academia. Oh, one last thing.
Oh, of course! You think the culprit spilled their coffee on the ladder, huh?
They do look like coffee stains. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the letter is written on a type of scented paper that has aromatics added during the manufacturing process. The kind often provided...
Ah, of course! Yes, like they sell in the gift shops. I remember now. Zaha Hadid bought some a while back. She said she was going to use it as wrapping paper for...
Understood. I'll assemble a team to investigate the...
You have my gratitude.
One last thing. Send some Matra to guard the entrances and exits of Sumeru City. And change into plain clothes.
Will do.
Great thinking, Cyno. So, where do we think the culprit's at? Yeah, they've probably been lying low out.
You're right.
Really?
The culprits approach. Whatever happens, they need this Mora. But just because they warned Professor Cyrus not to go to the Matra, doesn't mean they know what he'll do next. And crucially, the culprits said they'd be watching...
Huh? Wait, are you saying...
Found you! You wrote the threat letter!
I don't know what you're talking about.
I sensed someone was watching us from the shadows the moment we entered the House of Dana. You managed to stay relatively well hidden for someone reckless enough to threaten There are a lot of people here, but we were looking specifically for Araf. Whoever followed us the whole way was likely to be the culprit.
I was just listening in, that's all. You know something big's going down when Mahamatra Cyno shows up, right? So...
You smiled when Araf left.
Is smiling a crime now?
There are coffee stains on the letter. You mixed some coffee with water, gently smeared it onto the paper, then wiped it off with a wet cloth. All to create the impression that the closing off the exits to the city doesn't affect you, because you already live here. And as long as the Matra were focused on... The cafe was a red herring all along. You had to be somewhere where...
You can't pin this on me!
Really? The innocent have no reason to fear... Your heart's racing, and your eyelids are twitching. Don't try anything or you'll pay the price.
Well, that was over quickly.
You're telling me. 1 minute I go out for a quick smoke, the next minute I see Arav, already on his way back to... looked like a young guy, too. Couldn't have been much more than 30. But after what he's done...
Everyone, it's all over.
Gosh, that was so
The culprit's name is Raka, a 16-year-old student in the...
Huh?
16? Cyrus thought he looked 30s!
We checked his records. He's 16,
But he looks so old.
Yes.
Foolish child. He's too young for the criminal life.
We question the culprit regarding his motives.
Oh, just spit it out.
Very well. It's our understanding that Araka is a mediocre student who has been underperforming in his classes. He started taking extra tutoring to improve his grades, but developed a gambling habit around the same time and lost a lot. Down on his luck, he went to the tavern for a drink and overheard some people chatting about Sir Cyrus's comfortable retirement. They mentioned that he's always arguing about his tomato plants with some old woman on the street.
Some old woman on the street? Goodness gracious. Has that rascal attended a single one of his classes? That old woman is Kasharwar's very own professor, Zaha Hadi. How can he...
Is this going somewhere?
Oh, right, yes. So another thing. We don't just argue about tomato plants. And what are they trying to insinuate by comfortable retirement? A man grows a few...
Maybe it's more the fact that you have the time to grow vegetables in the...
Araka mentioned he'd heard a rumor, alleging that Sir Cyrus illegally obtained a large sum of money from the desert before retiring, and kept it for himself. Araka believes this money to be the reason why Sir Cyrus hasn't kept up with any academic research or other projects since his retirement. And given your advanced age, he thought you'd be an easy target.
Oh, Araka. I'm at a loss for words.
People make up rumors all the time. I am quite confident that Professor Cyrus...
Arav, you'll have to find some excuse to interrogate Araka again later. I need you to deliver a few firm fistfuls to him on...
I completely understand how you feel, Sir Cyrus, but I'm afraid that course of action goes against the...
Professor.
Oh, come on, I would...
Okay.
The academia will determine the appropriate disciplinary action against the student. And as for the individuals spreading rumors about the professor's obsession with tomatoes and some old woman on the street, there could be a slander case here.
Who said I'm obsessed with some old woman on the street? Mind your wording or... You seem confused. Uraka is just a young boy who made a very rash and very stupid decision based on some groundless rumor he heard. Besides, I didn't actually hand over any Mora to him. All it cost me is a little reputational...
Please rest assured, Professor, that the academia will...
Yes, I have no doubt about that. But as a former educator, I'd still like to have a serious conversation with the boy's parents.
We looked into the family. Both parents are...
Oh, what a mess. You don't have to seal the evidence away yet, do you? I'd like to have that letter back for the time being, if possible. I need something concrete for when I talk to the... We have to show them how...
The relevant authorities have already reviewed the evidence and are now discussing Araka's punishment. You can hold on to the letter for now.
Oh, so you'll be able to close the case in...
Give or take. Cases like this...
Very good. Well, thank you for all your help. Perhaps we can all go for a meal.
My apologies, Sir Cyrus, but I have a prior commitment.
Ah, I see. Ah, and isn't Tainari in town at the moment?
Wait, you mean Tainari's in the...
He is. Tainari's master, Sir Nephis, called him and Kale to the academia to help out on a project. Though I must say, I'm surprised you're extending an invitation to Tainari. Did you do something?
Don't be outrageous. Nephis offends me all the time. Anyway, hurry up and fetch Tainari. I'll head over to the tavern with the Traveler and Paimon. See you there. Go on now. Not to brag, but we never had problems like this at Ratawa Hist back when I was still teaching. And if you don't want to take my word for it, they were students at the time. They'll tell you what it was like.
I was out in the forest at least 4 days a week back then, thanks to a colossal workload from Master. It wrought havoc on my poor tail, so I didn't exactly keep up to date with what was going on. Most of what I know, I heard from Cyno after the fact.
Professor's become a lot more laid back in his retirement. He used to be far stricter, and was especially known for being extremely...
Wow. It's hard enough to stay true to your principles as a normal person. I can't imagine doing...
It's a pity Kale wasn't around at the time. I would have happily taken her on as a student.
And then we'd have one more person who has to address Lisa as upper class.
Really? Can't you just call her Lisa? She seems to prefer it when people treat her like an older sister.
Oh, believe me, back when she was a student, nothing made her happier than the younger students acknowledging her seniority.
Whoa, more food? Are you sure about this? We don't want to take it bandit.
Oh, don't worry about it. Order whatever you like. And if it's not enough, order some more.
I thought I heard some familiar voices. Ah, and Sir Cyrus is here as well.
Oh, Kave, it's been a while. Zahahadi was talking about you last month.
I've been all right, thank you. You're looking very well, sir. I'm glad to see it.
Have you eaten yet? Care to...
That's awfully kind of you, but I had a late lunch, so I'm not really hungry just yet. I'll have dinner a little bit later. I just came to Lombard's to buy some wine, and when I heard some voices I recognized, So what's the occasion, anyway?
Consolation, more like. You wouldn't believe the day...
Sounds like things have really gone downhill since I was there. My whole time as a student, I've never heard of anything
I can't believe how young the guy is.
Young people are always more susceptible to making rash and ill-advised decisions. Their minds are still developing, but still, this boy has some nerve. Just look at what he wrote. Oh, it makes my...
Wow, yeah.
I will always be watching you and all of your secrets.
If this were my son, he'd...
Luckily, I'm also an extremely principled person.
Kave! Your order's ready, sir!
Coming. I'll have to get going. Have a nice evening, everyone. I'll catch you all another time.
Okay, bye-bye!
Here I am. The coffee beans are in here, too.
Yep, it's all there. I'll stop babbling away now. Let's eat.
Oh, too tasty.
Oh, mine too. I'll have...
Thanks for dinner, Sir Cyrus. Master Tainari and I will bring you some homemade herbal tea next time.
Well, I look forward to that. In fact, could I trouble you to bring a little extra for the other old folks on my street?
No problem at all. I'll pack some up and bring it...
I'll see you all later. I bet...
Good night, Professor. Don't let those tomatoes keep you...
Hey, my tomatoes are serious business. Anyway, I'll be leaving now. Don't stay up too late now, children. I bid you all...
Take care! Have a safe trip home!
All right.
What do you mean, us time?
Well, I was talking with Tainari and Kale, and since we all have some free time, we thought we could all go camping together. Think of it as our way of welcoming...
Camping? Oh, that sounds fun! Paimon's in! Wait, no! That's my job! Don't take it away from me. You don't have to play the hero when you're out with us. This is your chance to just, you know...
Everyone, let's meet tomorrow afternoon at the riverbank to the southeast of Gandharvaville. No need to bring anything. We've already packed everything for the trip. Just bring your delightful selves and prepare to have some fun.
You got it! We'll be there!
Great. Then we'll see.
Time to set off! Let's head to the southeast of Gandharvaville and meet up with the others! Wow, you guys are ahead of the game! You set up the tents already!
I'd say we're right about on schedule, actually. We were aiming to have them set up before you arrived.
Traveler, Paimon, let's go fishing together. Whatever we catch, we can...
You got it! Dinner's on us tonight!
I hope I can contribute too. The other forest watchers gave me some fishing tips a little while ago. I'm really looking...
I saw some very appetizing mushrooms in the area, so I gathered a few for us. I'll leave them here along with...
Wow, camping with a forest watcher is the way to go! They think of everything! And even if they don't, they can
This is true. I don't think I've ever had a single rough day in this forest.
So, how is everything?
Well, there's been some high points and low points, but we've had some unforgettable experiences.
I see. Oh, in that case, you should try a Valberry. I bought some from the market.
A valuable suggestion. Just don't bury your feelings using food.
All I wanted was to recommend something bitter.
Oh, I have a sudden craving for fruit tea. I'm gonna go fetch some stuff. Bye!
She sure made a run for it.
Unbelievable. She made...
So Kale chose the path of tactical retreat. Could it be she foresaw what shall soon come to... My dear friend, you know what I am about to say. Excellent! A kindred spirit. But it looks like we'll get told off if we start playing now.
We got a bite!
I'll reel it in.
Firewood, spices, snacks, and drinks. There are 3 tents. Which one do you two want to take?
How about the one on the left? Well, Paimon just thinks the ambiance here is a little better.
True. But it's also the closest to the water, if there are any sleepwalking fungi around tonight.
Well, that's no good. Take my weapon.
Anyone would think you were sealing the gates to King Deshret's mausoleum.
Excellent. Then this tent will be an impenetrable...
I'm back! How's your appetites? Ready for the barbecue?
Always. Oh, it smells so good.
Someone sure is desperate to eat. I think it's time to add the seasoning. How do you like your skewers? Well done? Medium? Rare?
Wait, what? Isn't that just for...
Hey, if it works for steak, maybe it works for other things too.
Medium well for me.
Okay, these are about ready now then. It'll be a few more minutes for anyone who wants theirs well done.
Oh, that was so delicious. If Paimon's stomach had space, she'd eat
I ate a lot too.
If you're tired, then go rest.
You must be getting sleepy too, Paimon. Why don't you guys head to your tents?
Tonight I show you mercy. Our sacred duel will take place another day.
Good night.
Paimon's struggling to keep her eyes open.
Oh, don't forget this. The staff of the Scarlet Sands.
Wait, you were actually being serious about that?
It's a very powerful weapon.
Paimon can't even lift that thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Paimon's sure. We'll be fine. And even if we do get an uninvited guest in the night, Paimon will be here to take care of the...
That reminds me of a parting king of invocations. But right now, it's time to rest. Sleep well and sweet dreams.
I think they should... Traveler? Paimon? Are you in there?
Look at this.
What the... What's this sword doing here? Is it supposed to keep out in...
Evidently.
Huh? Who is it? Oh. Paimon's gonna take out the sword. Yeah! Oh, hey them, Kave! What are you doing here? It's the middle of the night!
Sorry to wake you up at this hour of the night, but we...
Let's get dressed and talk about it outside.
Something has come up. And since it pertains to Cyrus and Cyno, I deemed it essential to...
Whoa, back up. Let's start from the beginning. Where'd the wine cups go? I could have sworn I left them here after I washed them. Ah, there they are.
I'll have a cup too.
Can you see if the cookies are still on the table?
They are. And so are the fruit.
Oh, this is so bland. I should have gotten a few bottles of what Cyno's group was drinking last night.
Do tell. What were they drinking?
Oh, right, I forgot to mention. So, I ran into Cyrus yesterday evening when I went to the tavern to pick up some things. He was hosting a dinner for Cyno. Anyway, they got a bottle of Lombard's new vintage for the table. At least, I think that's what it was. It looked... You know what it's about, right? 16-year-old kid tried to extort Cyrus. He was asking for...
I heard some people talking about it on the streets, yes. Didn't take them long to catch the culprit. The sages are probably dealing with the case by now.
I wonder what Sir Nephis and the others will make of it. Oh, Cyrus showed me the extortion letter, too. It was crudely written, but the paper had this beautiful pattern on it that I've never seen before. Give me a sec, I'll sketch it out for you. Okay, done. Take a look. You see what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen writing paper like this around before. God.
Interesting. These are all motifs associated with the tribes of...
What? Real?
Take this, for instance. Looks like an outline of a spire, similar to the kind found on some ancient palaces. And the crisscrossing and mirroring, it bears a striking resemblance to an ancient emblem, one that hasn't been used in a very long time.
Whose emblem is it?
It's the emblem of the Temple of Silence.
After discussing it with each other, we both agreed that something didn't feel right. This was a long way to come from the city. Alhaitham figured you were probably with Tainari, so Gandharvaville was our first stop. But the Forest Watchers told us that you'd gone. Then, just as we were heading off to the campsite, we ran into Cyno. He said he was on a supply run. We exchanged a...
Hold on. So what's the deal with that emblem you were talking about? The Temple of Silence, you said? What
Is everything okay? Give me a second.
So you've never heard of the Temple of Silence? Well, to put it simply, it's an organization that has existed in Sumeru for over 1,000 years. These days, you can find a Temple of Silence office in the academia. Theoretically, it's responsible for the custody and disposal of information and documents not fit for public dissemination. At least, that's what they tell the outside world. In truth, it's essentially a vestigial institution nowadays. There's an office with their name on it, but it's functionally obsolete. Historically speaking, the original Temple of Silence is said to have been established by Hermanubis, one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret and the greatest of all sages. Most of the organization's members hailed from the desert. By contrast, none of the Academia Temple's current members are from the desert region, nor do they use any symbols connected with the desert.
So the Temple of Silence at the Academia is just a...
It's possible. The real question is, why?
So, how do you know all this? Sounds like some pretty top secrets.
Did you forget? He did a stint as acting Grand Sage, and kept the pay raise even after he resigned.
Oh, yeah! Paimon did totally forget about that. So you took the chance to read all the top secret documents while you were acting Grand Sage, huh?
If you're asking me whether I familiarized myself with the documentation in my office, I would respond that that's a perfectly normal part of any job.
So much about this doesn't make sense. Why did the emblem of the Temple of Silence appear on a threat letter from an academia? The student's only 16, and doesn't have any family ties to the desert. So where could he have seen that emblem?
You said you ran into Cyno, yes?
Yep. He ran off as soon as he heard what we said.
Given that Cyrus is involved, he's probably halfway through solving the case. Still, we should try to catch up with him. At this hour of the night, Cyno will probably go look.
If the Academia's Temple of Silence really does exist just to cover up the truth, the sudden appearance of this emblem can't be good. We should pay a visit to...
Yes. As the Sage of Amorta, my master ought to know the truth about their office. You can ask him to tell you what he knows. The more information we have, the better prepared we'll be for whatever happens there.
If this situation is connected to the real Temple of Silence, the emblem has to be part of a bigger conspiracy.
Kale, could I trouble you to send a message to the Core of 30? Tell them to keep an eye out for Cyno and Cyrus. Traveler, Paimon, you two come with me. We'll go after Cyno.
Sounds like a plan.
Cyrus has been living in the city lately. He rented a place near the... Here we are. This is the
We might be too late. Looks like nobody's home. Oh, Cyno moves fast. If he was here, he's probably...
I know that voice. Is that Tainari I hear?
Ah! Professor Zahahadi!
Wow, so it really is you. My good...
We're looking for Cyno.
Yes, not long ago, in fact. He knocked on my... I told him the old fool left early this morning, and I hadn't heard him come back. So we went to his place, and would you believe it? He's gone. It must have alarmed Cyno, because he took off in an awful hurry after that. He never did explain what this was all about. How serious.
Well, if Cyrus isn't at home...
Professor, did you hear that a student recently tried to extort Cyrus?
Why, yes. When I left the house that day, I noticed he was watering his flowers in the field in complete silence. He had a piece of paper clutched in his hand, and he looked lost in... I could tell something was troubling him, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. If Cyno hadn't happened to visit him that day, he'd probably still be whole. After seeing the letter, Cyno told him to contact the Corps of 30, but Cyrus was very reluctant. He claimed it would only damage his reputation. Eventually, he relented, after much
Huh? Cyrus didn't want to report it? Well, that's strange. When we saw him, he seemed pretty okay with the idea of the kid getting his just desserts.
As a former sage, it's possible Cyrus still has enemies at the academia. That's why Cyno was so insistent that he report the matter to the authorities.
So Cyrus initially hoped to stop this from going public.
Oh, dear. What on earth has that old fool gotten himself wrapped up in? Oh, I almost forgot. Cyno left me this letter to pass on to you. He wrote it when he came by earlier.
Thank you.
What does it say? Let Paimon... My friends, this is a rather complicated
Yep, that sounds like Cyno. Thank you, Professor. Traveler, Paimon, let's head to the...
You're here? I thought you were going after...
We went to Cyrus's house. No one was there. Cyno got there before us, but he...
He didn't say where he was going?
No, he left us a letter and told us not to go after him.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Typical Cyno. Anyway, some updates on progress on our end. I drew the emblem from memory again, but in more detail.
I checked some ancient texts for a similar design. The one I found was a little blurry, but the similarities in the general form and certain details were clear enough to confirm a match.
Yeah, and we're lucky we found anything at all. It turns out the emblem was all but lost to history. We scoured the entire Academia collection, and that book was the only one with a record of the motif.
Meanwhile, Arav managed to get Uraka to disclose his source. The one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds was a young man from the desert. According to Uraka, he had a striking presence and was well educated.
Apparently, the two met in the tavern over a game of cards. The guy claimed to be in the city for business as part of a murder. Uraka was intrigued when he heard what his new acquaintance had to say and brought up the idea of extorting Cyrus for Mora. The guy encouraged him to go ahead with it, then handed him some pen and paper to write the letter.
I see. So it could be that this person planted the paper and
So, how do we find this guy?
He doesn't know. He claims not to have seen him since that day in the tavern. The man gave him some tips on how to carry out the extortion, but from then on, Uraka was—
Nephis and Arav have gone to meet the Core of 30 and review the city's entry and exit. Also, Nephis admitted that the Temple of Silence and the Academia— The true Temple of Silence once came to the rainforest to establish a collaboration with the Academia. But, as time went by, the sages gradually became— The Temple of Silence felt that they could no longer trust the Academia and ended the partnership. They retreated back to the desert Ever since its inception, the Temple of Silence has been the guardians of King Deshret's civilization and belief system. They traveled throughout Sumeru, sequestering and guarding any wisdom that posed a threat to the people's livelihoods. At its roots, it was a legitimate and reputable organization whose purpose was to guide people towards the right path.
The Academia of the day knew that the split would damage their reputation if it became a matter of public knowledge. And so, they set up a dummy organization of their own to conceal the—
Not only that, but they managed to keep up the charade for hundreds—
So how did Cyrus become acquainted with the true Temple of Silence if they left centuries ago?
I'll bet that's the question that bothered Cyno. Probably why he—
Whoever is behind this, getting Uraka to extort Cyrus was only the first step of the plan. Their true goal in doing so was for Cyrus to see the—
He must have recognized it right away. That'll be why he didn't want to involve the authorities. He probably hoped to take care of the whole thing by himself.
Since the desert is where the Temple of Silence originated, that is an—
I have to go after him.
Really? Are you sure that's a good idea, with how you respond to the heat?
I should be fine, as long as I bring plenty of water. Besides, I just can't shake this ominous feeling that if we don't catch up to them soon—
Everyone, I have news from the Core of 30.
Master!
Oh, so that's Nephis, Tainari's master?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler and Paimon. Several independent eyewitnesses have reported seeing Cyrus and Mahamatra Cyno leaving the city at different times. Both were— I was going to suggest that you join forces with the Core of 30 in this case. However, as I'm sure you've already heard from Alhaitham and Kaveh, the Academia has made a number of decisions throughout history that I am ashamed to talk about. It may well be that no better choice was available to them, but those actions are nonetheless— I won't attempt to make you understand the Academia—
I understand where you're coming from, Master. But I'm afraid the situation might be more complicated than we thought. I think—
Good point. If Cyrus is involved with the other side, or everyone, we have to get Cyrus and Cyno back safe.
Need our help? Whatever you need—
Really? Wonderful. Arav and I will continue to follow up on the lead from Uraka. Kaveh, Scribe Alhaitham, I'd like to ask you to— Tainari, you're planning to go into the—
I am. Kaveh, I'll be okay.
Well, if you're sure—
Thank you all. Arav, let's go.
You'd better get moving. Don't forget to ask for help when you need—
Will do. Let's go, Tainari. Hopefully we can catch up with—
Knowing him, he's probably covered a fair distance already, but—
Maybe I'll borrow something to read.
What's the hurry?
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Maybe we should ask the nearby guard.
Hold on. Look over there.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert alone? I mean,
It's not my first time.
Cyno.
If you're really going to go through with this, then at least take our advice. When you're packing for your trip, budget for 5 days more than you plan to spend.
Makes sense.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me?
Well, sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off on your...
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation. And I'd rather not involve anyone else if I can help it.
takes a special kind of person to get Cyno chasing them all the way out to Caravan Ribat. But why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his age and description. Why can't you... Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace! So nice to see you. Actually, seeing all of our friends is the whole reason we're here.
You're looking well. Glad to see it. Candace and I came to Caravan Ribat on business. We ran into Cyno as he was asking about some elderly gentleman's wear. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading into the desert alone with just a sumpter beast in tow, and that's gotta be one heck of a story.
Cyno, it's okay if you can't tell us anything about the case. But we're here to help however you need. The more people we have working on this, the quicker we'll be able to find the person you seek.
No, it's not that simple. If I'm right, he'll be doing everything he can.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid. From what she said, it's pretty clear that he wants to try and solve this on his own. It won't be easy trying to find him in the desert when he's deliberately trying to cover his tracks.
Sounds like this is far more complex than we imagined.
Still, if he started from Caravan Ribat, the chances are that his route took him past our village. You may as well ask if any...
My thanks to you both. Once this is resolved, I will find a way to...
Come on. No need to get all serious. Just buy a round of drinks next time we're all in the city or something. All right.
Yes, we'll handle it from here. Thank you again for your help. I don't take it for granted.
All right. Then we'll leave you to it. Just remember, if you change your mind and need some reinforcements, we'll be here.
And don't think you'd be imposing. You can depend on us.
Don't worry, we'll keep him out of...
Travelers and visitors, don't miss out.
Welcome, weary travelers. All you seek us will find it here.
Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude.
hold on. There's a few things I'd like to clear up.
Go on.
So, after you left the campsite...
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the temple.
Do you have any connection with...
I do. I trust you're all aware of the spirit that gives me my power. Hermanubis, the original founder of the Temple of... Due to my unique constitution, I was put through a number of trials in the desert when I was younger. Later, I met the professor, but my memory of that time is hazy. It's a good thing that Kaveh noticed the emblem on the letter. Without that, I don't know if we would have connected the dots and realized there was more to this case than me. I did not recognize that symbol at all. Whether that's because I've never seen it, or because my memory fails me, it's...
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh, and for Alhaitham's diligence during his time as acting Grand Sage.
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you reporting it.
I suspect so too. Professor has never once mentioned the Temple of Silence in conversation. And whenever the conversation turns to Hermanubis and the concept of spirit indwelling, he avoids going into any depth.
Well, speaking of avoiding things, you do realize, don't you, now that we've caught up with you, you're stuck with us for the rest of the way.
I am aware. Or rather, I don't see how I could manage to ditch you en route, so I might as well accept.
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not, so the best option now is to try to look out for each other. Ha!
Fair enough. Then at least let...
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can...
Hello.
Mahamat.
I'm looking for someone.
A man matching that description passed by Aru village not too long ago.
Where was he?
Let me think. He took a seat by the entrance of the village for a while, and had a brief chat with the person who came to deliver the water. He said he was Do you have a map? I can mark out the direction he was heading in the best route.
I have one.
Great. There you go.
Thank you so much. You were...
You've got a really good memory.
You're quite welcome. Best of luck.
This kind of weather is more enjoyably spent under the cover of shade.
Hold on. I see some...
Do you think it's safe to act?
Should be.
No. I'll do it.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What difference?
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here.
Ah, hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting. My friend and I are looking for an elderly man who's gone missing around these parts. Any
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure.
I'm just wondering if you've seen him. Let me...
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes.
He'd stand out like a sore thumb around here.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of guy we'd remember if...
He's looking behind me.
Uh-oh.
Your friend over there stands out a lot, too. Hey, aren't you some...
Yes.
You don't seem surprised that I recognized you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old...
I have a bad feeling about this.
Someone's on edge. No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us. Still, you...
I thought you were a group of merchants.
Your henchmen don't look like much. But something tells me they put up a better fight than most.
Hey! Hear that, guys? You're my...
Suits me. As long as I... Just cut to the chase already.
Alright. Come with me. All of you. Don't you want to find your friend? A silver-haired, long-robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes?
So you know where he is?
Just follow me. And...
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing...
please, step back.
Whoa! Something's coming out of the ground!
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden?
Wait, so...
Is this... the...
All good questions. There'll be...
This is not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an... Oh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the god?
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done any...
Me too. Hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath. You can wait here for now. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence. Sit tight until he comes to greet.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended?
They can't have been at the oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is...
So this is the Temple of Silence, after leaving the rainforest.
Hey, look! That guy's coming.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was. My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that...
So we're free to...
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood...
He's right. Well...
Hey, Sethos!
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? I don't blame you. Anyone else would. Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He was asking everyone in the tavern about... He insisted that nothing was off the table, even if it broke the law. So, I told him that Cyrus had embezzled a large sum of more...
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he...
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. The letter just said that he had uncovered Cyrus's secret. It didn't say what secret. That, of course. Uraka was a great accomplice, really. Very cooperative with a little bit of wine in him. Did exactly what he was told. And not much of an original thinker, though.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert?
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. Certain things I can't answer for him. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem, and it was his own choice to take the bait. What kind of question is that? He's the...
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have asked him. So, what we're really asking is, have you never...
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could...
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being straight with...
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, you'll have nothing left to look forward to. Nope.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well aware of what goes on at that place. Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gates are wide open. Anyone's free to... Mm-hmm.
I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this.
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders on the...
We should be wary of our hosts. Still, at this point, we can be confident that the professor...
Here... Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the Temple of Silence.
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Ah!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance. Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning.
Some things in life catch up with you, no matter what you...
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you. We'd appreciate you telling us the truth. Otherwise, it seems...
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them...
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds to the students you nurtured. You recognized our emblem because for many years, you lived in... You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Herman. But then, you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions. And then, we both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
You really know.
Hermanubis' might? And the wielder?
Does he mean you?
The moon is right. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here. It was a great, daring plan. One shrouded in secrecy. Bamoon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. If the many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults could not withstand Hermanubis. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis, as the test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony, and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been amplified. If, after the original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and as the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at a time? This would allow us to monitor the results after the first round and adjust our plan accordingly. Or alternatively, but as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed with a light we had never seen before. I knew that if they were not implanted right away, they would disintegrate. Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments, under the circuit to preserve our faith and our power.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared. I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your Ba...
I see. So...
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are... But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the general...
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young. You and he, Sethos.
You'd like me to return?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now...
That power is not yours to reclaim.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he...
So those are your terms for...
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness all those years...
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not...
Divine power
causes great suffering. He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear. And you're...
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a...
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power is no more yours.
I know. But if this is a...
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all this effort. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the rest of your cards on the table.
Wait, those ears... So, we have a descendant of the Valukashuna in our midst. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll...
Why is he coughing so much?
Pamoon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you... I don't like to drag out conversations. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a... Still, it's no use I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. Time has worn away at its prestige, so I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave. Except for Cyrus. My
You have courage and wise judgment, kid. I truly wish that the temple would take and things will only continue to improve. Why not consider cooperating with the academia?
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion.
Tighnari made a good point earlier. He said that all you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba fragment.
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious...
I won't forsake my professor, nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later.
That works. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants...
Are you sure about negotiating?
I need to think this through.
Alright, well, don't put too much pressure on yourself, Cyno. If you need any help working things out...
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had... He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus...
So that's one thing. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So my own memories of this place are hazy, though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now,
I suppose it was Hermanubis' way of trying to encourage me. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Hermanubis is a
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way.
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over it, so I will challenge them head on.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the... Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. I think we could turn that to our advantage.
Wow, and just like that, we've turned...
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation. Let's go find Sethos. We'll tell him that I know a thing or two about medicine and would like to...
Sethos.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so...
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be able to tell us anything.
Well,
follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't...
Let's talk... Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure that your physicians have come to... He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy... Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition...
Yeah.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader... So tell me how we can end this on your terms.
Yeah, there's no time to waste here.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now. Both of you...
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did, but...
You're right. We both look at... I accept, Cyno. This all Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over several days, winning. That group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined as one of our founding rites.
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep.
3 against 3.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. And Cyno, letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed.
None needed. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release. If you win.
It's a deal. Then let's...
Well, after how that...
There never was. Turning back...
You have to win. You need this power, both as General Mahamatra and for yourself.
Yeah, that's right! Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child. Surely that's a sign...
both as General Mahamatra. Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it for myself.
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will... And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with the civilization of the rainforest. But there must be personal factors at work here, too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't... Tomorrow...
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels with the greatest of all sages, Lord. This is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be tolerated. It is incumbent upon representing the temple.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these...
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather.
Representing the academia.
Ready. We will fight to...
Warriors, take your... We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might of Hermanubis himself is at stake here. Now, fight. Fight until the rightful victor is proclaimed!
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out...
Okay, then you're...
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
Little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
Scatter! Propagate!
A swift end to the first bout. When you're both ready...
Let's begin.
Watch out!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
I'll uproot you! Keep up.
Thus ends the second.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. When you're both ready.
I am Sethos. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret. And even in our darkest hour, we earnestly sought Lord Herman. Now, I will fight.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Herman...
Everyone. Old. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler who is not afraid to get blood on his hands. But our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the... Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. I thought about this. Then I thought of you, Cyno. You and I both wield each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for something different. Might. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another. But...
I am more than just a warrior.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith. More than the power. Bring it on!
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer? Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tainarian priests and led them to the city of Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tainarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tula Tainarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Cephos.
I know.
I guess you were prepared for this.
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think at least he was able to see this chapter come to a close.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes. The Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the largest number of Hermanupis fragments. That...
But that's never going to work, as I'm sure you realize. I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, records, and environment here. As such, Sethos, I believe were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I'm sure Bamoon never meant for anyone but you to be his successor. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result. Perhaps he had an inkling that this would be the way things...
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and I have complete faith that you will be an excellent leader.
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the Academia and the Temple of Silence will become part... That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed. You have to believe that things can change for the better here at the Temple too.
I will try. To be honest, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough pressure to force us towards a duel. That way, no matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment, and the power of Hermanubis would be concentrated in one single person. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything to become the leader of the temple, much less integrate the temple into the Academia by force. He knew that the temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the Academia too. So he made it his responsibility to ensure his successor would be free from the burdens of the past. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the Academia. With one single letter, he lured out the professor. No matter what happened after...
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these... You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the Academia. Thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, I will grant the honor of access to the Temple of... The Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization in existence today. In times when you need information that only we can provide. But you must be exceedingly careful with your selection of candidates, lest you lead humanity to repeat the same mistake. By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the... The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tainarians and appointed him as his familiar. He went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. They always stood by each other. From the founding of the Temple of Silence, the Tainarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, many of the Tainarians chose to stay and put down roots in the rainforest. In all likelihood.
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but I never knew that my forebears had such a history with...
I like this.
By the way, has anyone seen...
Yes. Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room. He wouldn't show it in front of me, but...
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way, then I guess he didn't really resent Cyrus as much as he...
Who knows? Perhaps all of us. You, me...
Someone's got to make the decisions when history is at... I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali, and arrange for an official delegation from the Academia to... I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come and visit the rainforest again. You should stay for a few days this time, if we're going to work together. Both sides have to get to know.
I will. All right, well...
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.